Hello, my name is Dr. Lily and I'm Doctor of Physical Therapy. Today I will show you pelvic floor relaxation routine. This routine is very beneficial in relaxing pelvic floor and for anybody who has pelvic floor issues, including pain with intercourse or some tightness in the pelvic floor causing chronic pelvic floor pain. So in this routine, I'll show you different yoga poses and stretching exercises. They're very easy to do and they don't take too much time. So I'll start with a double knee to chest position and legs against the wall. So you just need a piece of carpet or a yoga mat, and you'll get close to the wall and just rest your legs in a 90-90 position with the 90 degrees in your hip, 90 degrees in your knee, and feet pointed slightly out. So in this position, you will do some diaphragmatic breathing. With diaphragmatic breathing, you will inhale through your nose and inflate your belly, drop your pelvic floor, and exhale through your mouth and relax. So inhale, inflate, drop your pelvic floor, and exhale, relax. Inhale, inflate, and exhale, relax. I want you to do this, perform 10 deep breaths, and with every deep breath, imagine air going deep in your abdominal cavity and reaching your pelvic floor and opening up your pelvic floor. So after you're done with this, I want you to do double knee to chest stretch. So you will be in this position again for 10 deep breaths. So just inhale deeply and relax completely. After this one, you will reach inside of your ankles, and we call this stretch in yoga frog pose. You'll stay in this position for 10 deep breaths. Inhale and open up pelvic floor, and exhale and relax. 10 deep breaths. So after you're done with this one, I want you to go to happy baby pose. You just reach for your toes, stretch back of your thighs, stretch back of your calves. Give yourself a little bit of overpressure on your toes to get that plantar fascia to stretch. You'll feel a good stretch in your pelvic floor as well. And you can roll slightly side to side as well. Do some deep breathing in that position. 10 deep breaths in and out. So after you're done with this position, scoot yourself away from the wall slightly. Roll your knees to the side and reach to the opposite side with your opposite arm. Look away. You should feel a good stretch on the side of your trunk, your hip, your glute, and IT band. Stay in that position for 10 deep breaths. So after you're done with that side, do the opposite side, the same thing. Roll your knees to the side, stretch your chest, side of your trunk, hip, IT band, look away. 10 deep breaths in this position. So next position in this pelvic floor relaxation and stretching routine is child's pose. So with child's pose, you're almost sitting on your ankles and your heels, and you reach forward as far as you can. And you should feel, open up your knees slightly to stretch your pelvic floor as well. Go as deep as you can. Sink in. Do 10 deep breaths in that position. So after you're done with that one, you'll go in a pigeon pose. And some of you cannot do pigeon pose because it's really tight, feels really tight. So you can just start with the modified pigeon. Just, bend your knee in and sit in this position to stretch pelvic floor. In this position and hold this for 10 deep breaths. And then switch and do the same with the opposite leg, 10 deep breaths. So when you're ready and you're able to progress to pigeon pose, put your leg in front of yourself, internally rotate, and then lean into it. Open up your opposite hip, keep your belly nice and tight, sink as far as you can, and hold this position for 10 deep breaths. You should feel good stretch in this hip, pelvic floor, opposite hip, IT band, all your hip rotators. So hold there for 10 deep breaths. After this stretch, I recommend progressing to dragon pose. You put your leg in front, leave your the other leg behind, and lean into it to stretch your hip. You should feel good stretch in the front of your hip. Do 10 deep breaths in this position. And when you're done with this position, on the left side, progress to do it on the right. The same thing. Lean into it. Stretch your hip flexor, quad. Should feel good stretch in your groin. Make sure you do deep breathing to improve your ability to stretch. From here, I will progress to deep squat stretch. So with deep squat, I open up my knees slightly, but my knees are still like in a line with my toes. And I try, to do like a deep squat, almost like sitting. And I'm not a yoga instructor, so my heels are not reaching the floor. But try to go into your heels as much as you can and open up your pelvis as much as you can. So hold here in this position for 10 deep breaths. And when you're done with this position, progress to cross sitting. So put your feet together, knees apart. You can push with your elbows a little bit to open your hips a little bit more. And lean forward to feel good stretch in your groin and your pelvic area. And do some deep breathing there. 10 deep breaths. So this was stretching routine, pelvic floor stretching routine, and it is very helpful in opening up pelvis, gaining more mobility in the pelvis, and eliminating painful conditions like painful pelvic floor conditions, chronic pelvic pain, and pain with intercourse. Do this stretching routine every day. It doesn't take more than 15 minutes, and you will see great results. Thank you very much.